Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today I've got an exclusive clip of Battlefield 4. He's using the CZ805 for a second there. Now he switched to the M9 pistol, and he's going to go inside here for a second and kind of run around. But I want to talk about some news today, because I'll be honest, this clip isn't the most exciting one in the world. I got some more Battlefield 4 gameplay for you after this clip ends from E3. Now, something cool that DICE is doing is they're giving us some new information every week on blogs.battlefield.com. In the last blog post, they confirmed 5 new vehicles that are going to be available to us in Battlefield 4. For the Chinese faction, we have the Type 99 main battle tank, the ZFB-05 armored car, the Z9 transport heli, the Z10W attack heli, the DV-15 interceptor attack boat, and they give us this cool screenshot here, which shows us the attack heli, the tank, and then the armored car as well. DICE is continuing to give us double XP weekend, so if you're not playing this weekend, I suggest you do. You'll get twice as many points, and you can possibly hit rank 100 before Battlefield 4 comes out. Now, I've been getting a lot of my news from MPFirst.com, and they recently broke down an interview with Patrick Bach where he's talking a bit more about the vehicles and weapons in Battlefield 4 and how they have really improve the code there so that they can fit a lot more guns and vehicles into the game. So if you weren't happy with the quantity of guns and vehicles in Battlefield 3, well, there's certainly going to be a lot more in Battlefield 4. But a cool new feature that was never mentioned before this interview and is actually pretty interesting is the ability to place either faction on either side of the map. So if you're tired of, say, the US always defending on a rush game, well, you can switch it up if you're like, say, a server admin, I assume, and put them on the other side of the map. I don't know if this means you can put Russia, China, or US on any map if a map's designed specifically for, say, China versus US. Then I have a feeling you're just going to be able to swap their spawn locations. But it could change things up, especially depending on if different factions have access to different types of vehicles. For example, in, say, No Shark Canal's Conquest, the US team gets a transport helicopter, but the Russian team does not. So if they maintain the vehicles that they spawn with and swap sides, that could be really interesting. Another thing Patrick mentioned was a customizable user interface for PC players. This is something I'm really excited about because players were already kind of messing with the user files in Battlefield 3 on the PC to get the minimap and health bar in closer towards the center of the screen. There's a pretty strong feeling among competitive players that if your informational readouts are closer to the middle of the screen, you can kind of almost read them with your peripheral vision better while you're still playing, or your eyes don't have to travel as far away from the center of the screen or your target or your area of interest to actually get your readout information. So giving us control over this, having it built into the interface on the PC side, is going to be very cool. Now, as this interview continued, Patrick Bach started talking about the netcode, and he says that Battlefield 4 has one of the best netcodes on the market. Now, that's a pretty tall statement, considering the problems that Battlefield 3 has had with the netcode. I can think of so many bugs and glitches that are still in the game and that are virtually unfixable without like doing a major overhaul to the netcode. I know the devs are aware of a lot of these issues that seem like kind of minor things that should be easy fixes that they've tried to fix, and it seems to be like a core problem with the netcode. So I hope there's a huge update to the netcode. I was talking with some devs at E3 and they said that they have been messing around a lot with it. I think they're looking forward to better vehicle collision physics and that sort of thing. Honestly, the only way to really know for sure is to play the game, especially play it with players who are not that close to you, and really test it out. Now, he mentioned having a network slider in the game, which is funny because Battlefield 3 also has a network slider, except it just lacks complete information on what it does. There's a little slider in the user interface, and it doesn't even tell you if sliding it to the right or the left is better for your internet connection. So hopefully the one in Battlefield 4 will have some information, like if you have a really fast T1 connection, you know, slide it all the way to the right. If you're on dial-up, slide it to the left. I just hope that there isn't a huge advantage by turning down the netcode slider so that it just gives you the bare essential information even if you have a fast internet connection, because that will probably degrade the visual quality of the game if it works anything like the netcode slider in Battlefield 3 does. And I really don't like game mechanics or design mechanics that give players advantages for degrading the visual quality of the game. Kind of like, say, PlanetSide 2. The graphics can look really good if you turn them all the way up, but it's going to be incredibly hard to see your enemies with all the ambient occlusion and stuff like that. So players turn it all the way down and it becomes a much easier game to play, but it also looks like crap. Now, Bach did confirm that there isn't going to be a day or night cycle for the multiplayer maps out there, which is, you know, unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm still really pumped for Battlefield 4, and putting in a day-night cycle setting for maps probably would have required a lot more testing and tweaking of the map just to make sure they played well on nighttime, daytime, dusk, you know, make sure that the sun isn't in people's eyes at certain times of the day, potentially like ruining certain areas of the map. I don't know, maybe that could have made it more interesting. Now, the last thing he mentioned was talking about patching and updates being a lot faster in Battlefield 4 because of how they've designed the Frostbite engine. It should be easier for them to implement code like server side, so we don't have to download huge patches and that sort of thing. This sounds like a good idea. The only problem is that they said the exact same thing about Battlefield 3 and it took forever to get patches out there. I'm just hoping we can avoid situations where y'all remember, if you're playing the game sort of mid-release, when the underbarrel shotgun got broken on weapons and each pellet of the shotgun would do as much damage as the actual assault rifle itself, so it could do like 25 damage per pellet, allowing you to do like upwards of 500 damage in just like one shot or spray of it. And it was insane. You could like snipe people across the map with your underbarrel shotgun, and that was a huge game-breaking mechanic, and it was in the game for months before it got fixed, and servers had to literally start banning players that were using underbarrel shotguns on their weapons because it was so broken. Overall, though, you know, we've only seen one map of Battlefield 4, but we've gotten a lot of information about the battle log updates. I'm excited for that, all the new guns that are coming into the game, the small minute changes for the infantry combat, that sort of thing. As a whole package, I think Battlefield 4 really does look like it's shaping up to be an amazing game, probably a lot better than Battlefield 3, and frankly Battlefield 3 is my favorite game of all time. So if they can top that, then I think they're going to have an awesome product on their hand. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.